let's get right into it. Hey, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alexis. I'm a certified personal trainer and have been training for 3 years now. And I also like shopping, and I also like just reviewing things for you guys and teaching you guys stuff. But today we're not doing fashion, we're doing fitness. I asked y'all on Instagram what your burning fitness questions were. What questions you want me to answer in a video format. So what I'll be doing today is answering those questions. First question, how to work up to doing a pull-up? Great question. What you're gonna need to do is, first of all, practice. Frequency is so important when it comes to doing pull-ups. It's a very use it or lose it situation. They're very hard and you have to be doing them 2 to 3 times a week to progress. So first of all, practice assisted pull-ups. You can use the assisted pull-up machine if you have one at your gym, or you can get a long resistance band, loop it over a bar, put it over your knee or under your foot, and use that to help you with your pull-ups. Do that, and also slow negatives. So you can do these assisted as well or unassisted as you progress. You just jump up, let yourself down as slowly as possible, jump up again, slowly as possible, and that really will get you where you want to go. So those are my big tips: frequency, assisted pull-ups, and slow negative pull-ups. So if you can incorporate all of those into your training routine, you should be good. You'll be doing pull-ups in no time. You'll have a new party trick. How to do rest days. Do you adjust macros? How you might deal with guilt or anxiety. Okay, so that's a good question. First, let's talk about the guilt anxiety part. What you need to know is that you will not make progress if you do not have rest days. Rest days are when the progress happens. When you lift, that's when you're tearing up the muscle. You're destroying it. And when the muscle is resting, that's when it builds back up. So your rest days are actually the days when you're building muscle, believe it or not. So if you can frame it in your brain that way, then it is easier to take rest days and like appreciate them, because they are extremely important to helping you get where you want to be. If you work out 7 days a week, you will not see progress, or you will see it extremely slowly because your body's like, excuse me, can we just have 1 minute to relax? And that goes with not even just lifting. If you're training for a marathon or training for some kind of race or something like that, like if you're doing more cardio stuff, you still need those rest days because you're still using your legs that need to rest and recover. And whenever you work out, you're producing a stress hormone, you're producing cortisol in your body. If you have that high cortisol every single day, your body never really goes into a restorative state, a resting state. And that will take its toll on your body quickly. You need them. So remember those things, write it down if you need to, and read it on rest days when you start to feel some anxiety, because it really is such an important day, or there's such important days. I take 2 to 3 rest days a week, and that's what I would recommend for most to do as well. As for like how you, like logistics of rest day, it's gonna be a little different for everyone in terms of like macros and stuff. The one thing I want to recommend for rest days is not to just lay down all day. I used to do that where I was like, okay, it's rest day, don't move all day, and I would get like 1,000 steps on a rest day. But your muscles will recover better with some blood flow. So get some steps still try to hit your normal step goal. That will just help blood flow to all your muscles, and that helps them recover faster. So you're not pushing the muscles, like you're not fast walking, you're not getting out of breath, you're not elevating your heart rate, but you are getting some movement to get blood circulation to those muscles. Also, like if you want to do a little restorative yoga, just stretching, again, not pushing yourself, not trying to get a split and like pushing it, just restorative yoga. Yoga with Adriene is a great YouTube channel, and she has a lot of like just 5-minute, 10-minute restorative.
Y'all, my throat's been like just blocking words lately. I don't know what it is.
anyway, I recommend her channel for restorative yoga practices and stuff. As for nutrition, you don't need to eat less on rest days. Your body needs calories and nutrients to build those muscles back up, to recover, to restore your muscle, to build muscle. So you don't need to lower your calories. For some clients that I have, they're not as hungry on rest days for whatever reason, so I will like stagger their macros so they have more calories on their training days versus their rest days, but it's a very small gap. Like, I don't lower their calories a lot. I lower their calories by like maybe there's like a 200 or 300 calorie difference between the 2 days, just because they're hungrier on their training days, so I'm trying to make their calories work for them. If you don't feel a lack of appetite on your rest days, you don't need to lower your calories. Your body needs the calories. You don't need to stagger them, basically, unless you have different appetite. Some people have a bigger appetite on rest days. So yeah, just listen to your body and see like how you feel on rest days versus training days. If your appetite is about the same, then just leave your macros the same. Okay, moving on. I never hit my macros because I don't ever eat that much. Is that normal? Well, first of all, there's no like normal versus not normal. If that's how your body feels, like that's normal for you and that's fine. So never think that like what you're doing is not normal. That being said, if you are trying to reverse diet and slowly increase your calorie intake because you want to build muscle, because you want to build up your metabolism, because you want higher energy levels, then I recommend liquid calories. I suffer from anxiety. Who's with me? Like, the first thing I notice when I'm anxious is I have no appetite. Like, the thought of a meal, even if I think of my favorite meal in the world, pizza, like even the thought of eating pizza will make me like want to throw up. If I have one low appetite day, then like I'll just listen to my body, whatever. But if you have several low appetite days in a row and you're trying to reverse diet and get your calories higher and stuff, then just make some big ass protein shakes. Put, you know, chocolate protein powder in there. Put some silk protein cashew milk in there. Put some nut butters in there. The nut butters are so high in calories, and like, although you may not have the appetite to eat it, blend a serving or 2 servings in there and put some like spinach in there so you can have some micronutrients. You can't even taste spinach when you blend it into stuff. Make like a huge smoothie protein shake and you can get a lot of your calories from that. Even if you feel kind of sick drinking the whole thing in one sitting, drink half of it, cover it, put it in the fridge or the freezer, and then later in the day stir it, drink the rest. So that would be my recommendation. You can get like 60 grams of protein from just a shake like that. And like if you're having trouble hitting carbs, you can get like juice. Liquid calories will be your friend. Mommy. Maya wants to come in. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Up you go.
Up I go.
When to drop calories in a deficit? Good question. Everyone does this a little bit differently, but this is how I do it with myself and with my clients. Take progress pictures throughout your cut. Drop your calories, take progress pictures in a week and in another week. And then once it's been 2 or 3 weeks, compare your pictures from before you dropped calories. If you're still seeing progress, just keep calories the same. Don't drop unless you need to drop. So if you're still seeing progress, wait another week, check pictures, still seeing progress, keep calories the same. When you feel like you've stalled, then drop them a little bit and then keep them there until you feel like you've stalled, then drop them a little bit. So basically, just base it off of how your body is responding. When you feel like your body is no longer responding, drop a little bit. Just try to be as objective as you can. I know it's hard to be objective with your own body. It's easy to be like,
my body doesn't look that different, so I'm just gonna drop.
Look at the pictures like it's someone else's body and be like, okay, do I see fat loss? Yes. These calories are working. Even if it's a little bit, fat loss is supposed to be slow, gradual, in order for it to be sustainable. If it's like falling off of you, you're in such a big deficit and your metabolism will be impacted. So look at the pictures objectively, see if you see fat loss progress. If you do, keep calories the same. If you really do not, then that's the time to lower a little bit. If that was not clear, just comment below. I feel like it was, but I'm not sure. Okay. Can you still build muscle even when you don't get sore? I love this question because I get it a lot, and it's a very common misconception, so I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a second. Maya, are you listening? So how she whips her head around. She always whips her head around whenever I say her name. If you're not sore, that doesn't mean you did not work hard enough. It actually could mean that you just have really good recovery. If you have been doing a program, you've been lifting for a while, and you are still sore every single day, every single week, you may have poor recovery methods. You may not be drinking enough water. You may not be getting good sleep. You may not be getting enough nutrients. Things like that impact your recovery. So if you're sore all the time, then you need to look into what you're doing for recovery. It's normal to be sore when you, like, for example, you might be sore right now if you're just getting back into the gym because you're lifting heavy weight for the first time in a while. So that's normal to be sore. When you're putting a new stimulus, then your body will be sore, and that's okay. But once you've been in a program for a while, you shouldn't be sore all the time. Also remember that if you're sore all the time, like, eventually that's gonna get old, and that's gonna make you kind of resent fitness a little bit. Kind of like if you're hungry all the time, you're gonna resent fitness a little bit, which is why I so frequently talk about not under eating for prolonged periods of time, because you want fitness to be a part of your life, but you don't want it to impact all of your life. You don't want to be always hungry, and you don't want to be always sore. I would no longer do leg day if I was like waddling everywhere all of the time, and then the second I'm not waddling, I'm doing another leg day to waddle again the next day. I would not feel good. That doesn't sound like a good quality of life. Like, I like the soreness when I first get back into heavy lifting. I'm like, ooh, I did something, but not really. It's because I do something every time I have a leg day, whether I'm sore or not. So I know it's a very gratifying feeling at first, but it's not an indicator of how hard you worked, and you shouldn't be sore all of the time.
Next.
Not really a question, but I see people talk about deloading. Can you please explain it? Yeah, so a deload week is a week where you work out way less hard than you normally do. There are several benefits to this. So earlier, if you remember, I talked about when you're working out hard for several days, you have increased cortisol in your body, increased stress on your muscles and just on your nervous system, on your body. And at a certain point, your body starts to not respond as well to that stimulus because it's a constant high intensity stimulus. Even if you're having good rest days and everything, training hard the majority of the week after week after week after week will still put stress on your body. So eventually you'll notice signs of fatigue. You're not moving up in weight as quickly. You just feel tired. You don't feel like going to the gym. Those are all kind of signs of the fatigue. And those are good indicators that you may need a deload week. What you would do for a deload week, some people just take a week off, but some people just love the gym or want to stay in the habit and know if they take a week off, they'll just stop going. Kind of like if you take a gap year before going to grad school, you may not ever go back. Sometimes you want to stay in the habit of going. So when you do a deload week, you're just going to do way less weight than you normally do, way less reps than you normally do. I think of it as going through the motions of going to the gym. So you go, you still do your curls, you still do your squats, you still do your shoulder press, but you kind of feel like you're going through the motions because you're using much lighter weight than you usually do. And you don't add reps. Don't do lighter weight, but then do sets of 25. That kind of defeats the purpose. And you're still like activating the muscle. You're just not putting it in such an insane amount of stress. Also, I'd recommend for deload week just going to the gym less days too and having more active rest days like I talked about, where you're still going on walks, doing some stretching, stuff like that. So yeah, that's a deload week. Everyone needs them at different frequencies. Some people take one every 6 weeks, some people take one every 8 weeks, some people take one every 12 weeks. It kind of depends on how your body is feeling, responding, but just be honest with yourself. And if you're feeling really fatigued, if your weights aren't going up as quickly as they once were, take a lighter week. It won't harm you. Your body will probably appreciate it. It's also nice to have a week where you're not putting pressure on yourself. So it's also a nice mental break. Like whenever you're not going up in weight as quickly when you're going to the gym, you can start to feel frustrated, and that's not fun, and you end up in a bad mood. At least I do. Like if I'm not improving on squats for a while, I'm like, the fuck? Like I just get into that kind of headspace. So if I have a week where I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to get better. I'm just here to move my body, squat a little bit. We're not even going for any high numbers. Like that's it. It's just a lot more calming, and maybe you can like enjoy your workout a little more too. I didn't know these answers were gonna be so long. I don't know if I was long-winded or if I just had a lot to say. Probably both. So I'm just gonna make this the end of this video, and then I'll make a part 2 answering the rest of these questions. I'm gonna stop here. I love y'all. I hope you have a fantastic day. If anything I said was unclear, you want clarification on anything, just comment below. I'll comment back to everyone. That's it. Subscribe, like this video if it was helpful. It really helps me. Stay safe. Love you so much. Okay, love you, bye.